Hi, this is Edie with Millrace Center in the travel department. Wearing a different hat today, I'm back in the travel office. And today we're going to be talking about some trips coming up with Colette. Now, as you know, the world of travel has really changed and it's ever evolving. So I'm working with partners here at Millrace Center with our fabulous travel partners to try and change what travel looks like in the future, to make sure that you're safe, that you're still enjoying yourself and having a good time and seeing those sights that you really want to see. Fortunately, before the COVID-19 situation happened in Indiana, we were able to book some really great trips for next year. So we have some things to talk to you about from Colette today. We do have one for yet this fall, and it does look like it's going to be going, and that's the National Parks of America tour. So sit back, we're going to be talking about all these trips and talking about how Colette is adapting to the new way of travel and what changes you can look forward to seeing as we move forward. Now, our bus trips with Millrace Center, those are going to be coming along as well, and I'm going to be talking to you individually about those if you're signed up for a trip. And if you want to learn more about the trips that you see in the newsletter, just contact me and I'll let you know the status of those trips. But the whole industry, and we're working very hard to figure out how restaurants look, how rest stops look, how the buses are going to be safe and keep you with enough social distancing and yet carry enough to make the trips worthwhile. So these are some of the changes that we're working on very diligently here at Millrace Center and across the whole travel industry to try and keep your adventures going, keep you on the road, having fun and seeing those fantastic sights you want to see, and yet keeping you safe and giving you that confidence that we can travel again. So without further ado, we're going to go right into the Colette presentation, the slideshow on all the different trips that we're offering. And I'll let you know how to sign up for these and a contact. So that if you want to let me know that you're interested, you can contact me at the presentation and we can talk more about your personal needs. As you know, Colette's been a great partner of Millrace Center for many years. Even before I started working here 6 years ago, we used Colette for many international trips. Since I have been with Millrace Center, Colette's been an excellent partner and continues to work with us as we've gone through this huge evolution of travel. Colette is a family-owned company, been in business for over 100 years, and they are very solid. They're taking great care of their travelers. So there's no concerns or worries when you sign up with Colette for a trip in the future. We've got a lot of freedom of touring with these trips. You're going to be able to make some choices. They've got 4-star accommodations. You've got all your baggage handling taken care of. You've got your cultural experiences included, so your dining experiences, lots of things that are included in the price of these trips. That's one of the reasons I love traveling with Colette, and I travel with them as well. Everything's taken care of from the time you leave Columbus or your hometown all the way through. Your hotels are taken care of, your dining, your baggage handling, everything is taken care of. So you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy your vacation. Our first trip we're going to be talking about is the National Parks of America. This is a 12-day trip with 17 meals included. This is a very popular trip, and if you've been to any of our beautiful national parks, you know that they are world treasures, and we want you to be able to enjoy this and sit back and see these. One of the benefits of traveling this style with Colette is you see so much more than what you would see if you tried to do this on your own. You aren't having to drive, you're not having to navigate, you're not having to try and find that place to stay the night or a place to eat. All of that's taken care of for you. And these trips are all managed by a professional tour manager that's with you the whole time while you're on tour. So with the National Parks of America, you're going to see these gorgeous sights all across the western part of our beautiful United States. You're going to go to the Grand Teton National Park. Some of the highlights of this trip are Scottsdale, Lake Powell, the Grand Canyon, Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon, Salt Lake City, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, the Grand Tetons and Yellowstone National Park. You'll get to see Old Faithful, Sheridan, and the Bighorn Mountains, Crazy Horse Memorial, and Mount Rushmore. This trip starts in Arizona. As you can see, the flight into Arizona from Indianapolis, or your closest airport. We can arrange this for you if you're not from Indiana or from Columbus. We can get you to your closest international airport and fly you from there. But your trip is going to start at home. We're going to pick you up here in Columbus, take you to the airport, and then you're going to fly into Arizona. So your trip's going to start in Scottsdale. When you arrive in Scottsdale, you're going to have an afternoon free evening to enjoy a dinner with your fellow travelers. And the next day, you're going to get to visit Scottsdale, Sedona, and Lake Powell. If you notice the little circles with numbers in them, those are the numbers of days that you stay at each of those locations, or nights, overnights at the hotels. So once we leave Scottsdale, we're going to go up to Lake Powell and spend some time. We're going to go over to the Grand Canyon and spend a couple of nights. And we're going to go up from there. So let's go ahead and get started on our journey. And by the way, you fly out of South Dakota. So we're starting south and working our way up through Canyon Valley, through the beautiful national parks. And they are the stunning colors, the purples, the rustic colors, the oranges. It's just breathtaking. Make sure you bring your cameras, your binoculars. You'll want to bring binoculars for this trip because you'll be able to see bighorn sheep and all kinds of birds and lots of wildlife. Beautiful scenes, aren't they? And you're going to be able to see the amazing Hoover Dam. You're going to get a tour of the Hoover Dam. You're going to see Lake Mead. You're going to be able to see the history of this area and why this is the gateway to our western states of California, Colorado, Utah. This is the water aquifer for this whole area, and it is an amazing feat of engineering as well as a beautiful natural area. And then on to the Grand Canyon. And again, this tour is accompanied the entire time by a tour manager. So you're going to get to see things that you wouldn't get to see if you were just arriving on your own. We don't stand in line when we travel with Colette. We have tickets to everything prearranged. Everything is arranged for us so we don't have to stand in lines or wait long times to get to see. We get right up to the edge and get to see these beautiful vistas. Now, maybe you've seen part of this area before. Maybe you've gone to the Grand Canyon or you've been to Mount Rushmore. Don't they look happy? Yeah, they look great, don't they? They look a little, I would be a little worried standing that close to the edge. But if you have no fear, you're going to be able to get that close to those beautiful vistas of the Grand Canyon. Gorgeous scenery and drives. So again, you're going to get to go to the Grand Canyon. You're going to get to go to Zion National Park. You're going to get to go to Bryce Canyon. You're going to get to go to Salt Lake City and enjoy the views there. You're going to spend a lot of time with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir and the great Tabernacle Organ in Salt Lake City. If you've been to any of these locations by yourself, some of you, I hear this comment often, well, I want to see more national parks, but I've already seen that one, whichever one it might be. Well, you may have missed some things because you went there on your own or you went there with the kids and you didn't get to see it with a tour manager. They make sure you see and really get a thorough understanding of each park. And it's always great to revisit those beautiful sites as part of a bigger tour. Again, if you haven't been out west to Canyon Country, it is astounding. And there's Salt Lake City. Again, with Salt Lake City, you are going to get a full day and a half in Salt Lake City. So when you arrive, you're going to have some free time. You're going to be able to enjoy the downtown area. You might explore Temple Square, which is a beautiful 10-acre plot in the middle of the city, kind of like Central Park is to New York. Or you may go over to the Tabernacle and see that Organ again. So very interesting cityscape, kind of unusual when you're touring national parks, but it's a good stop to do something different. Very historic area. Then we're going to go out to the true west of the United States. We're going to get on that wagon and take a tour. We're going to get to go to Jackson Hole and Grand Teton, and entertainment's included. With our dinners, we have live shows. There's always a lot included in a Colette tour. The brochures that we have at the office do talk about all the different meals that are included, as well as where you're going to be staying overnight. And the hotels are always listed. Now, that is something that may be subject to change. One thing that Colette is being very proactive on is if their old venues, their old hotels that they've used, which are always 4-star and up, or the restaurants that they've chosen for you aren't up to snuff with those safety protocols and that social distancing and making sure that we're confident that they are clean and taking the best care of our health, they are not afraid to switch providers. They will switch providers if they need to make sure you have the best experience possible. But the hotels they choose are always great things. For instance, you're going to stay at the Grand Canyon Lodge when you're in the Grand Canyon. You're going to stay at the Majestic View Lodge in Springdale, Utah. Downtown, right downtown in Salt Lake City at the Radisson. Snow King Resort at Jackson Hole. Mammoth Hot Springs in Yellowstone National Park, and the Holiday Inn Sheridan in Sheridan, Wyoming, among others. Those are all listed in the brochure, so you can get online and look at those hotels. You have confidence. You're not just buying something blind, hoping they put you somewhere nice. You'll be able to know exactly where you're staying. You're going to see those buffalo, signature of the West, the bison. I'm never sure if they're bison or buffalo. I'm sure you'll learn that on the tour. They'll tell you which one it is. And there's the Grand Tetons. Grand Teton National Park. Some of our national treasures here, folks. These are beautiful. And the other thing Colette is doing is they are limiting these groups. The groups are going to be reduced. Instead of 30 to 40 people, they're taking all of their group tours down to 16 to 24 people. That way you are assured of that social distancing, that special attention. Typically, Colette offers these trips at a little bit of a price point to have that small group experience. But because we booked all of these trips a year ago for you, you're getting the same brochure price as if 40 people went. There is no markup for the smaller groups. Wonderful geysers and hot springs. Our most beautiful natural phenomenon. There's Old Faithful. And the bison run. I've had the pleasure of being in South Dakota and having bison run all around our bus. And you will be touring these areas by motor coach, air-conditioned motor coach with restrooms in them so that you can sit back, relax, and look out the windows and see these beautiful sights. They'll stop for photo ops so you can get off the bus and go out and look and take pictures, but not too close. We've seen some problems with people getting a little too close to those bison. More shopping is available, and that's part of our experience as well. There's museums and shopping that are included along the way. You'll be able to pick up that Black Hills gold, that turquoise from the Southwest, those wonderful treasures and souvenirs. And again, we always use air-conditioned quality motor coaches for these trips. You'll be fully escorted by a tour guide, and these are professional tour guides that work for Colette. You'll also have step-on guides. They're local people, and they will be getting on and telling you about the Indian culture, about the cowboy culture, about the different things that you'll see when you're out on the West. So you have your tour manager and you have step-on guides that give you that personal experience from them living the life in the area where you're at. And again, we have that wonderful Native American experience. You'll get to see these dances. You'll be able to experience meals with the Southwest flavor. You'll get to see Mount Rushmore. Fascinating thing about Mount Rushmore is that rock is so hard and so solid, they had to use dynamite to rough in the sculptures, and they got within inches of the artist's rendering of the final faces, and the final faces were all finished by hand. But can you imagine being up that high and using dynamite and working with dynamite to crater out all of that sculpture? That's a pretty amazing feat just by itself, and it is breathtaking. It's fascinating to see. And again, this area is steeped in Native American culture. So you're going to be able to interact and visit with people who are living their Native American culture and their history. Beautiful vistas. Getting into the Badlands. And that brings us to the end of our National Parks of America. Now, our National Parks of America, let me just go back one screen because I want to tell you a little bit more about National Parks of America. Brochures for this trip are available at Millrace Center. You may call and have us mail you one. Now, every person that signs up for a trip is going to need a brochure because it has the actual enrollment form in the middle of the brochure. This has all the details. This has the due dates. This has the information about cost, when the final payments are due. And if you don't have every bit of information on here, for instance, I sent away for my passport renewal and I still don't have it back. So if you don't have your passport yet or don't have it back, just leave that blank. We'll work with you on it. All I need is your legal name, your birth date, and your contact information to get you started. And then you'll put a small deposit down on each trip, and you're going to buy the insurance. Yes, you're going to buy the insurance. Nobody should take a trip right now. If we've learned nothing in the last year, you really should not be taking trips without that insurance. I realize we're staying in the United States, but you still would need transportation home. You may need to be in an out-of-network hospital. You know, heaven forbid. But the only insurance that's too expensive is the insurance you didn't buy. So in this case, for the national parks, you're going to put $500 down as a deposit, and that's going to hold your seat on this trip. And then you're going to have a payment of $299 for the insurance. $299 will insure your entire trip, including your airfare. And with Colette, you can cancel at any time up to the day before you leave, and you will get all of your money back except for that insurance. And you don't need to have a single reason why. It could be because your dog is sick. It could be because you feel uncomfortable. It could be because someone in your family is having some issues, or your car got hit in the parking lot. Or it could be you just aren't comfortable traveling right now. You have that confidence that you'll get all of your money back except that insurance payment if you travel with Colette. So don't worry about signing up. We've had no problems at all with that. Again, these brochures cover the hotels you'll be staying in, and it gives you a day-by-day itinerary, including what meals are included. If you have any questions about our national parks trip, the date on that is October 4th through October 15th of this year. And we have every confidence that we will be able to travel and take this trip this year. So October 4th through the 15th, if you're ready to go and are anxious to get out of the house, this is a safe, comfortable, wonderful trip with absolutely memorable experiences you will never forget going through our wonderful Western states. All right, we're going to move on now. We're going to Hawaii. All right, so let's get ready and get in the mood. Hawaii is one of our most popular destinations. People love to go to Hawaii, and with good reason. It is absolutely breathtaking. Now, this is a 10-day, 13-meal trip, and this trip is February 4th through the 13th of 2021. So while we're here in Indiana in the winter doldrums, you can be experiencing a wonderful Hawaiian adventure. It'll be warm, it'll be beautiful, and it will be safe to travel to Hawaii, especially in February. They're going to be ready for us. So let's get going. Let's head off to Hawaii. Of course, they always greet you with that beautiful flower lei. That's a big part of getting to Hawaii, is the hospitality. They are so welcoming. Aloha. We're going to be staying on your first day of arrival in Honolulu. You're going to be going to Honolulu, Oahu, and you're going to be able to have a free day the first day. Now, that's kind of an interesting thing about Colette as well. If you would like to add a day, it's very easy to do that. And I always recommend that, especially when there's trips that have long flights. For instance, Hawaii takes a long time to get there. People don't realize that you have to fly to LA and then you have to fly to Hawaii. It can take up to 14 hours to get to Hawaii. So what you may do is choose to go a day early so that you can be relaxed, you don't have any jet lag, and you can enjoy that extra whole day on the beach. That's up to you, and I can price that individually for you when you sign up for your trip. But we're going to start again in Honolulu, Oahu, and you're going to be staying at, let me get the exact hotel there in Hawaii. Again, these are always in the brochure, and it's listed in a shaded box in the brochure. So you're going to be staying at the Hyatt Regency Waikiki Resort, Honolulu, Hawaii. That's going to be our first stop. You're going to be staying there, and again, you can stay one night or two. The first day, you're going to be remembering Pearl Harbor. We're going to be heading, oh, that's a view of the islands. Isn't it gorgeous? It's just tropical paradise. There's view from the resort area. And this shows the flying in to Oahu, flying over to Kauai, flying into Maui. Now, the dotted lines into Kona on Hawaii is an add-on. So this trip goes from Oahu to Kauai to Maui and then flies home. But you can add on extra days, looks like 2 extra days in Hawaii. And I'll be happy to talk to you about how that looks and how that works. It is an additional fee, but it gives you all 4 islands in one trip. So it may be something that you want to look into and at least find out the pricing. And I'll be happy to go through that with you individually. But for right now, just know this trip is Oahu to Kauai to Maui. Beautiful beaches, beautiful resort, and you have a lot of free time. This trip does include quite a bit of free time. I noticed that as I read through the itinerary. So if you're a beach person, you're going to be able to hit those beaches and spend some time. If you want to rent a car and drive around the islands, you are in the US, so your driver's license works just fine to rent a car and drive through the mountains. And you will have a tour manager there the entire time, like all Colette trips. So that person acts as a concierge for you. They will help you figure out what you want to be doing while you have free time. If you already know you want to go shopping or go to the beach, they'll just be there to help you figure out the best way to get there and back. And we're going to be spending the first full day in Oahu, and that's going to be at the Pearl Harbor Memorial at the Pacific National Monument. You're going to, again, we pre-purchase tickets. We have very good relationship with all of these venues. You don't stand in lines. You're going to be escorted right to the USS Arizona Memorial. And you're going to be able to honor those lives that were lost during the Pearl Harbor attack and really take in this solemn and historic area. That evening, you're going to come back to your hotel and go out to dinner. There's dinner included that second night, excuse me. The first night you're there on your own, second night dinner is included. The next day, you're going to embark on a wonderful journey along Oahu's famous North Shore. This is surfer's paradise. Get more of the, and you're going to be right there looking into it. And then we head to the beach. This is going to be the North Shore. We're going to drive along. This is a surfer's paradise. Surfers come from all over the world to hit these waves. And these waves can range from 2 to 40 feet tall. I can't even imagine seeing a 40-foot wave, let alone thinking I could do something with it, like stand on a piece of wood. That is beyond me, but it's fun to watch the surfers, that's for sure. Then we're going to head up into the famous beaches of Waimea Bay. You're going to see the Banzai Pipeline, Sunset Beach, and then we're going to go back to Waikiki, and you'll have the rest of the day at leisure. So a little bit of touring in the morning every day, and then the afternoons at your leisure. So very relaxing Hawaiian vacation. The great news is, again, if you do this by yourself, you'll stand in line for tickets. You'll have to get transportation to these sites. You won't even know necessarily if there's something you missed that you should have seen while you were there. That's why we have the tours. That's why these are such great packages, because your tour manager is going to take you to the highlights and the sites, and then you're going to have that afternoon at leisure every day to relax on the beach, to go shopping, to get some lunch, to go to the mountains and see the beautiful flora and fauna, whatever Hawaii means to you. Now, the next day, we're going to jump on a plane and we're going to take a short flight to the Garden Isle of Kauai. Now, this is the oldest island in the Hawaiian chains, and you're going to find the timeless world of ancient Polynesia here. More beaches. Look at these beautiful pictures, and you're going to get to see this all live. Coffee plantations. You're going to get to visit a coffee plantation, learn how Hawaiian coffee is made. And again, be steeped in the culture of the Polynesian islands. You're going to get to go to that luau. You're going to get to enjoy poi. You're going to get to eat pineapple and fresh fish and all the delights of Hawaiian culture. And again, flora and fauna. It isn't all beaches. A lot of it is natural preserves and botanical gardens. You're going to get to view some of those. And talk about greenery. There's some beautiful sights. Those Polynesian dancers. You will get to enjoy and even get to participate in Hawaiian dancing while you're on the island. I know many of you have been to Hawaii before and you can't wait to go back. It's your favorite place on earth, and this is a great opportunity to go with Colette. And again, they're going to do everything they can to ensure your safety. I know Hawaii has been really strict. It's been one of the strictest states about really watching visitors and making sure that people aren't bringing diseases in and out. So there will be some new screening when you travel. You'll have your temperature taken. You'll answer a few questionnaires at the airport, and maybe even when you enter Hawaii, where they'll be taking your temperature and asking you if you've been exposed or if you have had any experience with the COVID-19. This is all in the interest of your safety, and we want everybody to be screened. By then, we're hoping we have a vaccine. That's the big thing, but if not, believe me, every step is being taken to ensure your safety every step away along this trip. Beautiful views again. And fishing villages, another very important cultural part of Hawaii. And the plantations, pineapple, bananas, coffee, all the delicious things that come from Hawaii. And again, more lovely beaches. You've got your big surfing beaches, but this looks like a nice, calm, snorkeling beach, maybe even a nice swimming beach. And you'll have a lot of time to do that. A lot of your days, the afternoons and evenings are free, but again, you've got that concierge there to help you fill your time and tell you what you should be seeing and doing. But we want to make this flexible. There's nothing worse than going to a resort area or a beach area and being run to death so that you never got to relax and really soak up the culture. And that's not the case with this Hawaiian adventure. You get those tours, you get the highlights, but then you're kind of left to your own to learn and do what you want to do. Hopefully we'll get pictures back from some of you up on stage dancing, just like our Polynesian dancers at the luau. And you are going to be going to an official luau. That's included in your plan. And those beautiful sunsets on the beach. Absolutely fabulous. And that is our Hawaii adventure. The Hawaiian adventure is, again, February 4th through the 13th, 2021. And rates are available. Again, you can get a brochure on this, and I'll send you a brochure. And don't forget, you can always do that add-on. You can add on that extra 2 days in Hawaii at the end so that you will have hit all 4 of the islands. And I believe the brochure, it does have the post-day 3-day, 2-night Big Island Post Tour Extension, it's called. It's right in the back of the brochure. It has the pricing, and it tells you what all's included. And I tell you, if you're going to take that long flight over there and you're going to see all this, I highly recommend you think about adding that 1 day before so you're well rested and can enjoy everything that you see when you arrive in Oahu. And then you add that optional extension on the end so that you've seen all 4 islands. The post-tour extension does include your breakfast every day, your hotel, all your flights, and your transportation. And it tells you also that there's some tours available. So this is all in the brochure for Hawaii. If you're interested, please email me at travel@millracecenter.org or give us a call at Millrace Center. We'll be sure and get a brochure in the mail to you. Once again, right in the middle of the brochure is that form to fill out so that you can put all the information on there you can and reserve your seat on this trip. The deposit for this one is $500. Once again, the insurance is a little different. The insurance on this one, let me see if I can find it there. No, it's still $299. So US is still $299. So that's a very good deal. So that's included in the brochure for Hawaii. If you have questions, don't hesitate to get a hold of me and let me know. Now we're going to move on to Alaska's Northern Lights. Now this is different than some of the trips that we've done to Alaska. We tend to do the land and sea packages to Alaska, which take you through the inner passage on a cruise ship. It's partial cruise, partial land. This is different. If you love Alaska, if you've never been to Alaska, this is a trip I highly recommend. This is digging in deep. This is 7 days. It's going to include 11 of your meals. And this is going to take you into Anchorage and out of Fairbanks. And if you look, you will see that we're going to be spending, find my hotels here. There they are once again in the brochure in the little colored box here. You're going to be spending 2 nights in Anchorage. You're going to be spending a day at the Talkeetna Alaskan Lodge in Talkeetna. And days 4 through 6, you're going to be at the Pikes Waterfront Lodge in Fairbanks, Alaska. And you're going to be doing a lot of land crossing here. So you're going to get to see true Alaska, not just the water and the Gulf. If you've done a cruise before and didn't do the land, this is a great opportunity to see Alaska as you have not seen it before. The feature of this trip is those Northern Lights. So this trip is leaving March 22nd through the 28th, 2021. That time frame is some of the best to see the northern lights. The northern lights are most active between August and April. Cruise season in Alaska is May through September. So you don't get to see those northern lights as they're highlighted because the time of year is wrong. And that's the only time you can really cruise, and that Alaska's busiest season is May through September. This is going a little bit before that. This is going in March, and this is going to give you that opportunity to see those fantastic northern lights, and that's the focus of this trip. So let's get started. We're going to get into Anchorage, and your tour is going to begin. Once again, you can add a day to any of these trips, and that's going to give you that little bit of rest. Anchorage is difficult to get to. It takes a long time. Not challenging in that respect. It's just a long flight from Indiana. We have to go across the United States first, and then we have to go to Alaska. And it's just a long day. So if you want to add a day to that, you certainly can do that. Pre-nights and post-nights are always available on all Colette trips, and they make the travel experience so much more enjoyable. All right, so we're going to start in Anchorage. We're going to go for a winter glacier cruise when we're in Anchorage. So you're going to be able to go through the Prince William Sound. You're going to be having an expert guide show you where you are, what you're looking at, and you're going to watch otters dipping out of the cold waters. And you're going to see the sheer beauty of Alaska as you venture through a geological wonderland. In the evening, you're going to gather with new friends and have that welcome dinner. Beautiful cruising along this lake and passage. There's the otters playing in the water. And that welcome dinner. Wine and beer is always included with Colette's dinners, and we eat so well. They always look for local, fresh, regional food. You're always treated very well. There's more food than you can stand. If you have a special diet or restriction, they certainly will work with you on that. And again, you've got those wonderful beverages included with your package. And we're going to get out into the highlands. We're going to go to a musk ox farm. Now, this is going to be in Anchorage, Palmer, and Talkeetna. So in Palmer, you're going to go to a musk ox farm, and you're going to learn about this sustainable domestication effort that has worked to preserve, protect, and increase awareness for these woolly creatures. This has been in existence since 1954. You're going to learn a little bit about the natural wildlife. Then you are going to head into the Talkeetna Alaskan Lodge. You're going to have some free time. You might want to use that free time to take a flight seeing tour. You'll be able to book a seat on a small aircraft and fly around if you'd like. You can do some hiking. You can sit at your lodge and enjoy the views of the lodge and the natural areas around it as well. This evening, you're going to have dinner at one of Alaska's most popular microbrews, the Denali Brewing Company. There's the lodge. Very Alaskan, very beautiful. And again, dinner at that brewery, very popular. Now, if you aren't a drinker, that's okay. Believe me, you're going to be on this tour with about 16 to 25 other people, and they would love to take your portion. So you will make friends all day long because everybody is popular when they want to give away their drinks. But if you enjoy a good brew, that's a great place to try it. Again, the views are fantastic. Now, the next day, we're going to head out of Talkeetna, and we're going to go on the railroad. We're going to head to Fairbanks by rail. This is an awesome trip because you've already gotten a little cruise on the water. You've gotten to beautiful resorts, and now we're on that railroad heading through the wilderness. So you have got some really great opportunities here to take pictures of the wildlife and relax and enjoy. The great part about train travel is you can get up and walk around and move around. Bus travel's fine, but this gives you that opportunity to move from car to car and stretch your legs and get different vistas from one side to the other of the train. Dinner tonight is in the train's dining car. So really great experience, very unique. And again, heading through the wilderness and seeing lots of interesting things. The next day, we're going to head into Fairbanks, and we're going to go to the Antique Auto Museum. So you're going to see vintage cars and timely artifacts and fashionable designer dresses from times gone by. So you're going to be able to put on flapper accessories and hop in a car and get your picture taken. Kind of a fun thing to do. And that afternoon, you're going to go and visit the Iditarod sled experts. They're going to show you how the sled dogs work. You might even be able to step on a sled and give it a try, but you're going to learn all about the Iditarod, which is extremely popular in Alaska. Of course, you're going to dress warm for this. It's not going to be it's not going to be warm weather when you're there. It's going to be chilly. But this is what Alaska is about. You're going to enjoy all of the adventures that you wouldn't see from a cruise ship. Next day in Fairbanks, you have a full day of leisure. So you're going to be able to take this opportunity to do optional excursions, to relax at your resort, and every evening we're going to be outside looking at these fantastic northern lights. You could even take a day trip into Chena Hot Springs. That's a really exciting thing to do, especially when it's so cold outside and you can hop into those hot springs. And of course, wouldn't be Alaska without that fabulous salmon. Look at these beautiful northern lights. Now, some of you I know are from northern states like Wisconsin and Michigan, maybe even upstate New York, and you've seen northern lights. I know I remember seeing them as a child up in Michigan, but this is right over your head. This is not the edge of the vision area. These are happening right overhead. It's like God's fireworks. All right. Now, this is the Museum of the North. This is on our final day in Fairbanks. You're going to be able to visit the University of Alaska's collection featuring 2.2 million years of biodiversity in this building. So a very nice way to wrap up our trip here after seeing so much natural life and wildlife, to see the culture of the people and the evolution of how this area has been settled. And that's going to wrap up our trip to Fairbanks. Again, you can add that post day if you'd like to, so you can get a full day's of enjoyment out of your time in Fairbanks. But most flights heading back to the East Coast from Fairbanks leave in the wee hours of the morning. So you're going to have a full day in Fairbanks, but don't be surprised if your flight doesn't leave somewhere between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. It's just how it works. You can't take a day flight from Fairbanks back to the west or the East Coast of America. They just don't do it. That's just the way they've organized it. So we'll help you acclimate and just know you can sleep on the plane with lots of dreams of your Alaskan adventure. Now again, some footnote items here. Colette does do the hometown pickup. You don't have to drive to the airport. You don't have to park your car and remember where you left it. You don't have to pay for that parking. If you're the only people from Millrace Center that go, maybe there's just 2 of you, then you're going to be picked up at your home. If we have a group going, maybe 6, 8, or even 16 of you going from Millrace Center, then we're going to meet at Millrace Center and leave our cars here. It's very safe. It's very comfortable to do so. This is only a 7-day trip, so it won't be a problem. We park up towards the bus depot, and you will be picked up by a professional driver, and they will take care of your luggage and your baggage, and you're off to the airport. This is one of everybody's favorite part of traveling with Colette, is they don't have to do that airport hassle. Of course, we have that no worries travel protection. Again, I can't stress enough, you need insurance. People don't realize that when you're outside of your home state, you could be out of network on your insurance. But if you're out of the country, now in this case, all of these trips are within the United States. But if you're leaving the country, your insurance does not go with you. This becomes your primary insurance. Now, if you are within the United States, then it would become a supplement to whatever insurance you have now. But that can be very handy, especially if you do have to fly back home because of an emergency, or you've lost all your luggage and they can't find it for 2 or 3 days. Things happen on trips. You're in the wilderness, you're walking on uneven surfaces, stuff happens. Let's just pay that insurance and have peace of mind and not have to worry about it. Plus, you get that amazing cancel at any time for any reason insurance. You don't have to worry. I've had to use that myself, where I had to cancel a trip 2 weeks before it left. I was so disappointed, and within 7 to 8 days, I had all my money refunded back into my bank account. And I didn't have to fill out a doctor's excuse. I didn't have to go chase down documents or argue with an adjuster. It just happens. And it happens over and over again for our Colette clients. I don't work for Colette. I work for you. But I have vetted this company thoroughly, and we have had no poor experiences. They have always stood behind their word. They have always been top drawer. So that's why we use them. As you can tell, with the world changing so much with travel, the disappointment and difficulties people have had getting money back from companies has been unbelievable. In many cases, some companies have just folded up. They've just closed their doors. Now, thankfully, none of the companies we work with, but I hear reports of this all the time. or insurance claims that take 6 months to a year of constantly providing the same documents and paperwork. That doesn't happen here. We don't have that issue. And that's one of the reasons why Colette's been trusted as a travel partner for 100 years, more than 100 years now. And again, you're covered on tour for medical assistance, evacuation, baggage loss or delay. If you are ill in your hotel room and you miss a day of touring, if you document that, you have a doctor from the hotel come and visit you and you get the documented, you'll get reimbursed for the day you missed on that trip or the touring that you missed on that trip. So there's a lot of details that are available in that insurance. Very important stuff. And then there's the Colette loyalty program. If you're a regular traveler with Colette, you know about this, that they give you $150 off your next trip when you travel within 12 months. If it's been more than 12 months, then it will be $100 off if you travel within 2 years. And this is just money off of your trip on top of the discounts they already offer. It's just a reward and a thank you for coming back to Colette over and over. And believe me, people who travel with Colette stay with Colette. They do enjoy the program. All right, again, this is Edie with Millrace Center in the travel department. If you have any questions about the tours we've covered, whether it be the Alaska Northern Lights, the Hawaiian Adventure, or the National Parks of America, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me at Millrace Center. You can email me at travel@millracecenter.org, or you can call us at 812-376-9241. Ask for Edie in the travel department and we'll get a brochure out to you right away. Looking forward to traveling with you this year, next year, and for many years to come. We'll get through this. We'll figure out what travel looks like together, and we'll have more adventures. Have a great day.